Oh, I am so bored today. Wait, what day is it? Let's see. Today is June 10th. Wait a minute. June 10th. Today's the day! Oh, yes! That's right. Guess who's coming back to PonyTube today? Hey guys, it's Dina. I missed you all so much. It really feels so nostalgic to make pony videos again. I can't even. But yeah, a lot of things have been happening for me, like college, and I've been hitting so many times of writer's block when I want to make new series. It was just bleh. But I finally came up with something, and I want to make up for the lost time before the Friendship is Magic series ends. I'm really going to miss it. But I hope Generation 5 is just as good. So for those of you who have seen all of my previous pony videos, I'm so excited to be back, and I missed you all so much. And for those of you who know me on Discord, thank you so much for all of the wonderful times that I've had with you, and I'm looking forward to what's happening next. So I have decided to come up with something a little different. I'm going to do some story time videos based on real life events, but due to the sake of privacy and all that, I'm going to keep some mentions anonymous, or I will come up with fake names for some people that I'm going to add. And keep in mind that I'm going to be doing those videos weekly, so every Monday I will make a new pony video while I'm still working on Help in Hand and Jewel Angels on Wattpad. And I'll also be using different pony toys for that. So today I'm going to be using Pinkie Pie. Yee! So let's get started. Today's first episode of story time is going to be the worst accidents in school years. Well, for my case, it was mostly falling down and stuff like that, so they're not exactly accidents, it was just an exaggeration. But I did get injured in some, but in other cases I didn't get seriously hurt. But let's begin. So I'm going to start us off back in elementary school. Now keep in mind, I was actually in the British system during my elementary years, or primary per se, and I moved to the American system in high school. So during elementary, I was actually at a summer camp with some of the other kids. That was before our actual classes began. I was at around year 2 or grade 1. So during that time, we had one of the activities which involved running. And keep in mind, I'm not exactly good at sports, but I have actually participated in some running events for charity. But back to the story. So there was this running course, and each of the students, I remember correctly, had to run around in a circle, and it had a line full of safety cones. Each turn was given to the student who would have to go from one place, they have to go around the cones, and then they have to go back to where they started. And it's like one lap maybe. I can't really remember when I was called out, but I do remember correctly that when I was running around the cones, it was that one of my shoelaces was untied and I tripped over, and unfortunately I got 2 cuts on both of my knees. They were really bad. I actually started crying during that time. So afterwards, I actually had to cut off from the running event, and I had to go to the nurse's office for some treatment. I remember the nurse was a very kind young lady. She helped me settle down, and she wrapped up my 2 knees with some white bandages after cleaning off the cuts. And because of that incident, I unfortunately had to go home early. I was still in pain, but at least I took some time to lie down and My mother made sure that I was okay, and I got to cuddle some of my stuffed animals for comfort. I can't really remember how long the scars have lasted to heal, so maybe around 4 days or so. But yeah, after the healing process, I was left with 2 scars on both of my knees. That's the unfortunate one, but at least I had learned an important lesson during that time. You should always double check to see if your shoes are completely tied. More like to double knots, but that's just one of the basics. Okay, so the second accident I got into was in middle school. And yes, I was still inside the British system because, as I said before, I moved to the American system at high school. So I was on my way to my next classroom in the hallway. I was going to take a test for science, and science is not my best subject, but at least for that class I had done well. But yeah, when I was on my way to go to do the test, I actually crashed into a girl on a wheelchair, and it's led me to having a simple scratch. Of course, I wasn't seriously injured, but I actually felt like I was almost in desperate pain and all that. And I also had like some kind of bruise by that side. I can't really remember much. But I wasn't mad at her or anything because she was actually one of my good friends. So all was forgiven. That didn't stop me from taking the test though. So I decided to go straight to my classroom first and take the test. Once I was done, I got to do the cover sheet for the next subject that we were doing. And that's when I went back to the nurse to take care of my leg. And she said that it wasn't anything serious, just put on some cream, etc. And after the bell rang, I left the office so I could go back and collect my things. But I also ran into a couple of friends by then, and we got to hang out for a few minutes. And the final incident occurs not exactly in the school, but it happened during my freshman year in college, and thank God I wasn't injured for that, but I was still traumatized. Alright, so I was going to order an Uber to go to visit my mom, because we rented an apartment by the time I started college. Though I still lived in the dorms, I would still go there to see her before my first year of college started to keep rolling. When I got in the Uber cab, the driver was actually a very nice young lady. Let's just call her Stacy. So Stacy was driving and there was classical music. I think it was Mozart. And I love classical music, so it brought me into a calm state at first, with not much traffic, etc. And all of a sudden, without knowing, the front part of the car accidentally flipped and it broke the window. But luckily, I was in the back of the car, so I wasn't injured or anything, but I was really scared. While going in my panic mode, I decided to immediately call my mom. And I told her about what happened, and she said that she was on her way. And the driver, Stacy, tried to calm me down, and she told me that everything was going to be fine while my mother was on her way. And believe it or not, the cops had to get involved as well. They asked the driver some questions, and it didn't take long before my mom arrived, and she was so scared for my life during that time. We got in the second Uber, but I thanked Stacy for trying to help, and we actually got in the car, and that's when we drove to the apartment. I didn't know what else to do really, so for the rest of the day I just lied down to try to calm down from the incident until it was time for me to go back to studying. I don't know what happened to Stacy by then, but I hope she got the car fixed, and I also hope that she's okay while continuing her driving. But yes, those are the 3 major accidents that I got in. But even though they scarred me at some point, at least I managed to get over them. But for some reason, I still felt like sharing those stories so I can warn you guys about some of the things that you might never know will happen. And I just want everyone to be safe, but not too safe, of course. So that's it for my first Pony Time story episode. I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to stick around on Mondays so we can do more Pony Time story videos, and then we will see which pony I'm going to use next. See you later, and don't forget to rate and comment on the video.